So,
Bum.
hey, we didn't want to leave y'all hanging. You know, we covered 100 to 35, but after some dialogue, we thought, you know, we've got time, we've got energy, and whatever you do it to jazz, right? So we might as well look back 35 down to one. To get to number one was a milestone to begin with. 100 episodes that we've covered, we've dialogued about. So, with that being said, hopefully we can keep it even shorter this time. But who knows? Let's figure it out. I want to start with what we finished with last episode, and that's number 35, The Passionate Man of Jazz. And that is going to be none other than Charles Mingus. Dope. Charles Mingus. I was going to say, The Black Saint and the Center Lady, and that was on Impulse, recorded in 1963.
Then we go to number 34, Miss Ella Fitzgerald. And this album is Ella in Berlin. It's obviously a live album. And the title is Ella in Berlin, Mac the Knife. It's a verb recording done February the 13th. Imagine that, 1960.
Coming up next at number 33, we've got Duke Ellington. Ellington at Newport. It was released on the Columbia label on LP and CD, recorded in 1956.
What an album that one was.
Told the producer, hang on, I'll finish this up. Band, let's go one more. Crowd went nuts.
We gotta go. Yeah, I'll get the crowd to leave. One more song, band. And what an introduction. That was awesome too, right? So takes us to number 32. Jan Garbarek, Afric Pepperbird was the album on ECM, and it was recorded in September of 1970. Probably not my favoriteest album of all of them, but it was a great. It was a great album. Just not my
great
favorite.
Introduction to Jan, and there's
Yes.
awesome music that he does. Afric Pepperbird is just not one of my favorites either.
But
He's from Norway, right?
Yes, he's from
Matt, why don't you go to number 31?
Okay, number 31. I'm not going to argue. My man, Pat Metheny. Pat Metheny, the album is 8081. It was also on the ECM label. That had Michael Brecker on it, Rui Dedman on tenor sax, Charlie Hayden on bass, Jack DeJohnette on drums, all-star lineup for Pat Metheny, 8081.
I can see what
Number
Dad's up
30.
here. I can see what Dad's up here too. He's like, why don't you go ahead and introduce Pat Metheny so I could drop this album?
Right.
Punk.
Number 30, Chick Corea. Smooth, melodious ECM album recorded February 1972. You're going to love it.
Return to Forever.
Return to Forever.
And I will
You're gonna love
forever return to listen to that album.
Yep.
Amazing.
Well, that takes us to number 29. And in the Jazzwise Magazine top 30 albums, we move to individual pages. Number 30 down. They don't have a little caption anymore. They have a full spread from 30 down. Number 29 is João Gilberto and Stan Getz, the sound himself. The album is Getz Gilberto. It was recorded in 1963 on the Verve label for LP and CD. That introduction between Brazilian bossa and Stan Getz the sound, showing.
What a unity of sound that is. Coming up next on the countdown, number 28 is Albert Ayler, Spiritual Unity. That was released on the ESP disc label on LP and CD, recorded in 1964. Albert Ayler.
Why don't you
Number
host up
20.
the sales, Daddy? Host up the sales.
Yes, number 27, Maiden Voyage by none other than Herbie Hancock. Again, back to Blue Note. Done in March of 1965. Yeah, another star.
Bing!
Big old star right around my face.
Yep, exactly.
Favorite.
Superstar.
You know, you get to talk about Return to Forever and Maiden Voyage.
I know,
You wanna
imagine
talk
that.
About Sound of the Sea. Both of them experimenting with that sound. Man. The next on our list, number 26, is Miles Davis, Live at the Plug Nickel. As those two boys had played with experimental sound of the sea, this group played with experimental sound, period. The standards that they played at Plug Nickel over 5 sessions, or 5 different sessions.
Yep.
Over this course of several days in 1965, the Plug Nickel, those boys experimented with a whole lot of sound, and they just neglected to tell Miles that they were going to be doing this. So the Plug Nickel is a very long album to get through, but what a great staple album to hear, everybody breaking away from the norm.
7 hours of music that they tear each tune apart and don't put it back together correctly. So it's a tough one.
Miles on trumpet, Wayne Shorter on tenor sax, Herbie on piano, Ron Carter on bass, Tony Williams on drums. What a lineup that album was.
You know who's not on that album? Lee Morgan. But he is on number 25. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. The name of the album is Monin. It's on the Blue Note label, recorded in 1958. Bump.
Down to number 24, Cecil Taylor, and the album is called Unit Structures. It's a Blue Note album. I'm surprised somebody didn't say the word.
He can't.
Recorded in 1966.
You're the only one with one left.
I'm thinking you have some. Anyway, Cecil Taylor, Unit Structures, 1966.
You guys should have known I wasn't going to pass on a free jazz album.
He's not going to pass on that one.
Especially that album. It was the first to hear a free jazz on the piano.
Yeah.
Everybody else leading the way was an instrumentalist, a single tone instrument, and Cecil said, we can do this, baby. And he did. He went way out. I don't know if it was structure or not, but the unit was banging. That was a great album. That takes us to one of my faves here. You could put that little bell, ding, is number 23, Bud Powell. The Amazing Bud Powell, Volume 1. This was a Blue Note album. We tend to notice a lot of Blue Note coming out. This was a collection from 49 to 51. Blue Note has been shaping jazz for a very long time, and it's been so great to hear their collection of artists, and Bud Powell was one of those. Listening to him play, phenomenal. Even in his last days, in the waning of his life, he was still trying his best to lay it down. May not have been the best sound of the time, but it was truly Bud Powell.
The next album is not a Blue Note album, but it is number 22 on the countdown. It is the Mahavishnu Orchestra with John McLaughlin. The name of the album, The Inner Mounting Flame. It was released on the Columbia label in 1971.
And counting down to number 21, Mr. Wes Montgomery. Smoking at the Half Note. Verb label, done in September 1965.
Seems like just yesterday we listened to that album, but what an amazing piece of work. What an amazing piece of work.
So you might want, if you were to redo the list, you would move possibly this album up a couple spots. We talk about that in our long form episodes. It's not our list. I'm happy where it's at on the list. I wish I'd have known about Wes a long time ago, so I could have started listening to him the same time I listened to Pat, but I didn't. So, but listen to Wes Montgomery Smoking at the Half Note.
It's interesting to me looking at that lineup again, Matt. We've got Paul Chambers on bass, Wynton Kelly on piano, Jimmy Cobb on drums. The only thing that we're missing in here would be the Kind of Blue guys, and that would have been Miles, Coltrane, and Adderley. We did talk about that in the number 1. How many other albums did they play on? And I've spent some time over the last few days trying to figure out if that group ever did play before or after. And although they've always played together in different places, it was the first time in Kind of Blue that they all got together. So I'm looking at that lineup with Jimmy Cobb and Paul Chambers. What a rhythm section.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 20 on our countdown is none other than another Herbie Hancock album, but this is going to the opposite side of jazz. This is the Headhunters. Herbie Hancock's Headhunters came out on Blue Note in 1965.
Out of Columbia.
What?
19
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
What year?
Struck with another highlighted album. 1973, Columbia.
There you go.
Cut. Herbie Hancock, Headhunters, Columbia, 1973. This Headhunters album was Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters, and then it became the group Headhunters. So if you're looking for the album Headhunters, it is a Herbie Hancock album. What a fun, phenomenal album this was, moving into fusion.
Number 19 on the countdown, none other than Charlie Christian. The name of the album, The Genius of the Electric Guitar. It was released on the Columbia label. This is a compilation album from 39 to 41, even though that year was still scratchy and the recordings aren't perfect. You get a feel for Charlie and his work and how good he really, really was.
Yep. And in 41 then, right there, that record band begins.
Yep.
And so we see a big change from that moment on in the music.
So imagine going from an electric guitar to piano that doesn't have all the keys working on basically a second-hand piano and going out to do a concert in front of 1,500, 2,000 people. And Keith Jarrett, the Cone concert, knocks it out of the park. And he is so superb and proficient at playing around those notes somehow. It's amazing. That's number 18 on our list.
Yes. January 1975. A month later, it would have been the greatest month and year in the whole wide world. Just saying. That means that number 17 is mine to bring to the table, Ahmad Jamal. Live at the Pershing, but not for me. Boy, an interesting discovery and conversation we had about how that album name came to be. But this was on the Argo label. It was from 1958. And man, to know later in years that Miles would send cats to go listen to Ahmad Jamal play so that they could learn to play like him. What a story that was.
I'm surprised that this one doesn't show up on my top yearly play because it's in the A's and it's right on top. And I look at it in my library, and it's one of the first ones that I go to, live at the Pershing, but not, at the Pershing, but not for me.
Yeah.
Number 16 on the countdown, we've got Weather Report, the name of the album, Mysterious Traveler, on the Columbia label. Joe Zawinul, of course, Wayne Shorter. No Wayne Shorter, no Weather Report. And this one does not have Jocko on it. This is after Jocko.
Yep. And I found that very interesting that out of all, Mysterious Traveler was picked for number 16 in Not Heavy Weather, which would have been a Jocko album.
Yep. All right, Dad.
Number 15 is by Ornette Coleman, and it's called Free Jazz on the Atlantic label, recorded in 1961. And if you've never had a taste or an opening to free jazz, this will get you to free jazz immediately.
Yes.
And whether you like free jazz or not, at number 15, obviously this got to stick out as an outstanding free jazz album. Some of us like free jazz and we go to that. And some of us would pass over it, but
Matt
that's
can't
where
pass
we are.
over it, so
No, I wouldn't pass over Ornette Coleman anyways.
No.
I rated
No.
it high. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, it had Freddie Hubbard in one ear and Don Cherry in another. It had Scott LaFaro in one ear and Charlie Hayden in another ear. It had Ed Blackwell in one ear and Billy Higgins in the other. It was a duet, if you will. Of course, Eric Dolphy in one ear and Ornette Coleman in the other. But it was a live duet battle between left ear and right ear. it shaped the world with that music. And it was all free jazz, played all at the same time, all through either the left ear for one band or the right ear through the other. Or I think my monitor's backwards, so that would have been left ear, right ear. What an album. And an introduction to Don Cherry.
Yep.
So then I get 14?
You.
Yeah.
Good, because I packed a lunch. I'm going out to lunch right now. This album was Eric Dolphy, Out to Lunch, recorded in 1964 on the Blue Note label. And again, Freddie Hubbard. I mean, come on, are you going to go wrong? Eric Dolphy together again? Not going to go wrong.
Go wrong. So I get number 13. Number 13, Duke Ellington. The name of the album, The Blanton Webster Band. It was released on the RCA Bluebird label on CD and LP. This is another compilation from 1940 to 1942. A lot of Duke Ellington music on this album. Beautiful compilation album. I loved every minute of it.
Number 12, I would like to try to mimic Louis Armstrong's voice. If I would have practiced it for a couple hours ahead of time, maybe I could have done it, but not so sure I could. Louis Armstrong, the complete Hot 5 and Hot 7 recordings, Columbia Legacy, CD, recorded over several years, obviously, 1925 to 1930. Louis Armstrong, number 12.
Unprecedented for the unconnoisseurs because we chose not to rate this because it is a full compilation of almost his entire work. Not his entire work, but almost his entire work. So,
and you dare not want to put a number on the beginning of jazz. It's like what we learned throughout the process with Bix, Jelly Roll Morton. You just don't go you can't put a stamp on the spearhead of what you think this album should have been as far as a rating. Matt, I'm going to switch with you because I'd like to do number 10.
Okay, number 11, none other than the Dave Brubeck Quartet. The name of the album, Time Out. It was released on the Columbia label on LP and CD. Golden Year of Jazz, 1959. I can't say enough good about this album. This is the gateway album. I'm happy where it's at on the list. Although if it had been number 100, I'd have been even happier.
100 weeks of listening, baby. 100 weeks of listening.
Yep.
You know, to me, the things that begin to shake the world of jazz are those albums that decide to stand out of the norm. And coming back from his world tour, World Heritage Tour as a jazz ambassador for the government, he came back with a selection of sounds, rhythms, and ideas that forever shaped jazz. And it goes back to Indo Jazz Suite. It goes back to all the great things that we've learned. Dizzy Gillespie being one of those who went out and toured for the U.S. All of this rich history we've gathered over 100 albums. Just an amazing tour getting to number 10 has been.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to number 10 and you get a chance to listen to John Coltrane's A Love Supreme, you've got a lot of questions coming out of this album, a lot of information to dig into, but more than unpacking it is just an enjoying the brilliance of it. You know, as three of us have journeyed in jazz, Dad brought us up in church every Sunday night, and Wednesday night too. And so there's the spiritual connection that we have to the world around us. And if you look through the eyes of your own spiritual journey at the album Love Supreme, it will continue to impress you and move you. This was out on the Impulse label. It was released in 1964. And I have to say then that I had a couple of years ago an opportunity to hear Don Braden play several of these songs at St. James Episcopal Church out on the east side of Austin as they were doing their Jazz at St. James Mass. And to hear him talk about Coltrane's experience, wow. To hear him talk about the people who have played or been around Coltrane, wow. But to hear what this message really did mean in 1964 for Coltrane, powerful. Well, then,
Number 9.
Going from the Holy Rollers,
Yeah.
Matt's not going to say the word, so I'll let you do it for him.
So number 9, Miles Davis. The album is called Bitches Brew. And you can get a sense what this is about. Columbia label, recorded August period several days in August and November of 1969. Number 9, obviously, it's really a go-to album because first of all, it's Miles. And second of all, it's Miles. Okay, I just say it that way.
Into his electric period, basically. Yeah. I mean, just it blows me out of the water.
Yeah,
I have new respect for Miles when I heard this album.
Yeah.
So I get to do number 8.
Yes, sir.
Number 8. This one was on the top of my charts for the most amount of listens to this year in 2025. Number 8, Charles Mingus. The name of the album, Mingus. It was released on the Columbia label on LP and CD. The Golden Year of Jazz, 1959. I can't say, and I thought Black Saint and the Sinner Lady for me would be on top of the list because I feel like I've listened to that album more, but it doesn't. It surprises me that is up there, but it really doesn't. It's an amazing album, and that's for somebody who I'm not the hugest Mingus fan. Let's put it that way. I enjoy him, but it's not going to be one of my top go-to picks. But apparently, it was in 2025.
It will be in mine.
Good.
I will continue to go back to Mingus.
I knew you would.
Absolutely. And that takes us to another very interesting individual, number 7, Thelonious Monk. And this album was Brilliant Corners. This was on the Riverside label with both LP and CD, and it was recorded in 1956. Listening to Monk play with Clark Terry on one of the tracks was super fabulous to me, and of course then that led me down a rabbit hole to In Orbit by Clark Terry that had Thelonious Monk on it. You hear those two playing together, two geniuses of their instruments. They've mastered them. They're brilliant, which was a good fitting name for Brilliant Corners.
I love the album cover of In Orbit as well. It's a cool album cover.
Yeah. all the albums that we did not have on the list that we have consumed. You know, Matt said this the other day. It may have been on an episode, Dad. For every one album that we listened to, if this countdown of 100, there was probably at least 5 more each week that we ended up with. So 600 albums over the course of 2 years that we have just consumed out of joy.
Yeah. And Max Roach was on this album.
Yes.
Number 100. He's in the top. Sure. Max Roach, the drummer. Wow.
All right, Dad, you're up with number 6.
Hey, number 6.
He was also, I thought you were going to transition. He was on number 7, but Max Roach just happens to be. I thought that's how you were about to transition that with Max.
Oh, hadn't gone there, but thank you for helping us segue into that. Sonny Rollins, Saxophone Colossus and Prestige label. It was recorded in June of 1956. It's a gotta listen to.
St. Thomas. It's just stuck in my head. It's such an easy tune to listen to.
Yep.
It's interesting that Sonny Rollins is just like one of those sleepers. He's everywhere. He's recorded many albums. He's been a sideman many albums. And yet he just flies right under everybody's radar. But when he pops up with things like Saxophone Colossus, you go, oh, yeah, I should have been listening to him for the last 2 years or more. I should have. I should have known who he was.
This next album did not fly under the radar. It it buzzed the tower in all kinds of direction.
Which way did they go?
Which way did who go? Number 5 on our countdown. The Bill Evans Trio, Sunday at the Village Vanguard, was released on the Riverside label on LP and CD in 1961. It's my goal for the year of 2026 to have Sunday at the Village Vanguard be at the top of my listen to list. So if I listen to it every day, it should be at the top.
I was going to say, you listen too much now. You get a new record.
You go away now.
Can you imagine having vinyl only to listen to? We'd have worn out dozens of albums this year just hit and replay.
Yeah.
Just period. For me. Would have been the replay album. I'd have had to go out and buy a new record because I'd worn the grooves down.
Good stuff.
Who knew that when we began this journey, that we would be in the shape and condition that we are today to listen and look back at 100 top albums. Nobody realized at the time that the shape of jazz to come was going to be from Ornette Coleman, and boy, what a bold statement he made in 1959. I remember Lily doing the introduction to this week's, the number one album, Miles Davis, but when she said Miles was buried underneath other albums like and Ornette Coleman's The Shape of Jazz to Come. This, to me, was an incredible album. It sits at number 4, and it had none other than Don Cherry on it. So, again, going back to the free jazz, that's when I was hooked. Don Cherry on a pocket trumpet, but this album, he was on a cornet. It had Charlie Hayden on it. I mean, come on. Billy Higgins on it. Shape of Jazz to Come had shaped the way free jazz was going to be accepted into the future. And then you look back over those first 100 and pick out those little free jazz albums. That's where, to me, it just sealed the deal for free jazz.
Matt, do you get the feel that Drew somehow is focused on, what's his name, Don Cherry?
Cherry. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. John is an amazing trumpet player who, again, gets not enough recognition for his talent. Kind of does fly under the radar.
And I remember telling the story. Miles said he played like crap. And then one day Miles said, you know what? There's something to you. Can I sit up there with Ornette and play for a bit? Yeah, here's my trumpet.
You know who doesn't fly under the radar, though, Dad?
Number 3, Charlie Parker. The album is Bird. 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 The Savoy recordings, some master takes. It's done by Savoy, recorded 44 to 48. And again, you can't say enough about Charlie Parker. And coming in at number 3, that's a good place for this album, Bird.
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 Bird is the
It's
word.
not a fight, but to hear Miles play the way that he plays against Gillespie, the way that he plays, not being able to tell the difference for me easily between the two, gave me a whole new level of respect for Miles.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's what the album did for us. The introduction to Miles as a as a bebop player. Bird, the Savoy recording, was a long album to get through. And because we had not heard much of Charlie Parker at this point in time, it was definitely rough. But a lot of respect to a lot of the musicians at that moment.
Yeah. All right. You got Ascension. You got Blue Train. No, I got Blue Train, but you get number 2, baby.
I'm going to take number 2. I thought you may have wanted to fight me for it, but you're going to get the man himself. So number 2 came down to John Coltrane and the Giant Steps album. Early in our time, we refused to look ahead. And I remember going through the magazine thinking, we've seen the 2006 and the
1999.
1999 and the 2006, and we thought it was going to be a different album for John Coltrane, and we weren't sure if Miles or Coltrane were going to take out number 1, and Lily wouldn't tell us. That little stinker 2 years ago wouldn't tell us, still won't tell us, and I think that was even better that she introduced number 1 for us. John Coltrane, Giant Steps on Atlantic, came out on LP CD, and was released in December of 1959.
I'm not mad at this album at all for sliding into number 2.
No. It was interesting because, again, you see Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers, and Jimmy Cobb. That lineup again with Coltrane. These names, this is what happened over 100 albums. You started to recognize some of the names of the players, and you realize that they did play in different worlds. Diz and Don Cherry never played together. Harold Land, you didn't see his name much after Clifford Brown. All of these things began to run in circles, and so Dad's question was loaded. How come they didn't always play together? I mentioned it last week's album, Need to Breathe. How come those bands didn't stay together like we see typical rock bands, if you will? with so much talent out there trying to get their thoughts out there, I think it was really easy to stick in your pockets, in your places, stick in your lane, and play with the people you knew were going to play like what they were going to play like. So, anyways, Giant Steps shaped my world.
The final all-star lineup. I mean, this is the all-star of all-star lineups. None other than number one on the list, Miles Davis, Kinda Blue. Miles Davis, Cannonball Adderley on the alto sax, John Coltrane on the tenor sax, Bill Evans and Wynton Kelly on the piano, Mr. PC himself on the bass, and Jimmy Cobb on the drums. So you got that almost the same lineup as Giant Steps, slides right into the number one spot.
Yep.
I mean, what do you say? It's now pinned to the top of my list. Kinda Blue is pinned to the top of my list. Anytime I want to hear Miles, I'm just gonna start right at the top of the list. Go Kinda Blue. Yep. I don't regret the comment that we got, but I'm glad that we didn't do it that way. Yeah. You know, why don't you just start with Kinda Blue and move on from there? We had to get the base of our journey set, and it had to be set properly. And this top 100 set that foundation for us to listen to jazz for many years to come. Not that starting with Kinda Blue wouldn't have, but I don't want to test drive the Escalade before I test drive the 1988 Bronco that's used. So
and we'd have been a short rabbit hole away just to say, that was an okay album, moving right along. But we wanted to learn who was who. And
we found a 6 degree for everyone that we never skipped a 6 degree to Miles Davis. And there's got to be something to said about that.
Yep. Who would have thought 70 some weeks ago when you said we ought to look for this, that I knew Miles was going to be in the top 5. We knew that. But how many people have come in contact with Miles? And I still think about the Ornette Coleman and Don Cherry. They never played together. That was on record.
Right.
But it was talked about that, yes, they did play together. So there's connections there.
What about you, Dad? Kinda Blue.
No doubt. Number one. No doubt. This is a pick. This is a choice. Again, if folks haven't listened to this album, I'd be very surprised.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Go listen to the album.
Shame on you.
Now, just a quick question for y'all. Has jazz shaped the way in which you look at the world? Has this last 100 albums? Has it changed anything about the way in which you see the world? I know it'd be a great conversation in full length, but has anything shifted in your minds?
Everyone's got something to say, and it's important to listen so that you can riff off of what they're saying, whether you agree with it or not. Whether they come in and deconstruct your thought like Live at the Plug Nickel did with the musicians. They deconstructed so much that Miles had no clue what was going on. He just went with it. Everyone's got something to say. Pay attention to what they're saying and listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying it like that, Matt, because if you think about the quotes that we've had that you've posted over the number of months that we've been part of this, there's some very profound thoughts that go with it. And you got to give credit to the intelligence and the craftsmanship. And, you know, I look back and say, I wished, I didn't stick with learning to play an instrument at all. I mean, I took a couple piano lessons so I could get close to the piano teacher's daughter.
I didn't know Goldsmith gave piano lessons.
But such craftsmanship, it does run your world to realize there's more to life than just say sports and athletics. There's much more to the world than whatever. So plug into and begin to listen to the artistry and the compositions, the arrangements that these musicians make, it'll blow you away. And it did me. It blew me away to have opportunity to engage in these albums, and especially with you all, and the awareness that you guys have and the way you put it together. So I commend you again.
What about you, Drew?
Jazz, yes, definitely has reshaped my mind. Matt, it's just like to touch on what you've said. It's opened my mind to there's a lot of different people in the world. It's too small of a place. It's too dangerous of a place. Be open-minded as you go. But I think more and more about the quotes that you've done throughout the last 100 weeks. The one from none other than Art Blakey. Jazz washes away the dust of everyday life. That impact, the meaning of it, the soul cleansing, transformative. It's the power of jazz to open your minds and your hearts. And it's the quote here, a balm.
Yeah.
To soothe the soul. The impact is the philosophy of it, that we're all trying to create something in our lives. Be mindful of what's being created. And to me, I look at the world very differently because of the last 3 years, really, that we've been going through jazz music. And I have so much respect for the true musicians that have made it to this list and who are going to make it to lists for many, many years to come. Their ability to hear and to create through all the noise of the world is astounding. So, yes, it has changed the way in which I look at the world.
It's almost like music brings people together. And if you go almost anywhere and you put a smile on your face, that's going to do something for the person that you're smiling at, and they smile back. And music is the same way. So music brings us together, and it's global. And we've learned that, haven't we? It's global.
It has helped me become a better driver, because instead of being in a hurry, I think about the bumper sticker that you brought up a year ago or 2 years ago. Honk louder, I'm listening to jazz. And so in my mind, in my ears, while I'm driving and listening to jazz, normally I'm a let's get there as fast as we can. No, take your time. I got jazz in my ears. I'm smiling. You do you, boo. Yep. Drive under the speed limit if you need to, because I got jazz in my ears. Made me a better driver.
Yeah. That's funny. Saturday morning, Matt, I'd finished the NICA mountain biking team. And there's a path that follows the river, the lake here, or you can go to the main road and get out of the park. 5 minutes, you're out of Paceman State Park. I took the long way, and I let my car go in idle. Only time I had to hit the gas was to get up the little incline, but I just idled out of the park. Took me 25 minutes, and I listened to Gregory Porter the whole time. Just leave me alone. I pulled over. I let people pass me. I talked to the people as they were walking by because it took me that long to get by them. I just let my car idle to get out of the park. And it does. It changes the way you see that. Unless you're listening to something like Art Ensemble of Chicago. That's good for driving in Houston.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Thank you again so much for following us on our journey. We've got a lot of exciting stuff still coming up, even though we're done with the Jazzwise Magazine. We can't wait to start our brand new list that we'll tell you about on the next episode and what we're doing. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button so you get notified when our new episodes drop. Next format, we're going to keep it much, much shorter. Under an hour, I promise.
We'll see.
Can he deliver? We'll find out. Stay tuned.
We'll see.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, guys.
Yep. Good night. Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.